5 cars from the 2010s we are glad are gone. The 2010s were an exciting decade in automotive history. It started with the terrible global economic recession and ended with the rise of electric vehicles and autonomous driving. Although it doesn't sound very good, most of the 2010s were pretty interesting in terms of new car releases. However, as with most decades, it too had its fair share of dull and boring cars. Cars we are even not quite sure why they were introduced in the first place. Cars that sold poorly and didn't leave any impact. And yes, cars that we are glad are gone. Let's get started. Number 1. The Chevrolet Cruze. Chevrolet ambitiously returned to the European market in the early 2010s with their greatest hits lineup, which included the fantastic Camaro SS as well as an enormous Suburban. However, they needed a compact family sedan to fight the Golf, Astra and Renault Megane in Europe's lucrative C segment. So, with the help of Daewoo and Opel, they introduced the Cruze, a modern and decently equipped model with a nice selection of engines and equipment. Although the car itself was not that bad, it wasn't good either. In fact, the styling was a bit strange. There were no specific or unique features, and it had cheap rental car allure. Needless to say, buyers in Europe weren't impressed, and the Cruze sold poorly. I don't think anyone will miss it though, even the Chevrolet dealers. Number 2. The Honda CR-Z. The idea behind the Honda CR-Z was actually a very good one, but turning it into a reality proved to be more challenging. Honda wanted to reintroduce compact sports cars like the CR-X of the late 80s, but also wanted to tap into a hybrid car market ruled by the Toyota Prius. Combining those two concepts, Honda hoped to start a small revolution with an affordable compact sports hybrid. Excellent idea, we have to admit. But the problem was that the CR-Z wasn't very sporty, very fast, or even very affordable. Okay, it was compact, but that was its best feature, really. Although the initial response from the automotive community was good after the first tests, buyers were low. After a while, Honda decided to discontinue this model, and we're still waiting for somebody to make a proper compact sports hybrid. Maybe it was slightly before its time. Number 3. The Volkswagen Eos. In the early 2000s, Peugeot had a big hit with the 206cc, which featured a folding metal roof. In just a few years, almost all manufacturers introduced similar coupe convertible versions of ordinary cars, and Volkswagen wanted a piece of the action. So in 2006, the Volkswagen Eos debuted as the successor to the Golf convertible, but with a complicated 5-piece metal folding roof. Unfortunately for the Germans, the market was already flooded with similar cars, and demand was drying out by the time the Eos appeared. It wasn't long before the Eos was known as the slowest-selling Volkswagen model in history, and a car that nobody really wanted. Although the open-air models are always exciting and refreshing to see, the Eos was simply too ordinary-looking, not so innovative or dynamic to draw attention from convertible-loving fans. Number 4. The BMW 3 Series Gran Turismo. Back in the early 2000s, BMW only had 6 models in its lineup, but now it has 18. Obviously, BMW's marketing department thinks the key to success is diversification and selling as many different variations and versions as they can. Sounds reasonable, but also means that, here and there, BMW makes a mistake and introduces a foolish model like the 3 Series Gran Turismo. So what is it? It is an ordinary 3 Series F30 which has a higher roofline, a hatchback rear door, and more interior room. It's kind of a crossover version of the sedan, and a kind of unnecessary option, since BMW already offers a proper station wagon version of its best-selling model. As you can expect, it was a very slow seller, and nobody wanted the slightly strange-looking 3 Series with less space than an elegant wagon and a strange design. With a few styling tweaks, it could have worked a lot better. That said, now it's gone, I'm not sure if many will miss it. Number 5. The Renault Wind. We always love to see mainstream manufacturers do brave stuff, even if it's not particularly successful. However, daring concepts don't always turn into good cars, and that is the case with the Renault Wind. Aiming at the lifestyle roadster market, Renault introduced a compact 2-seater with a folding metal roof in 2010. It was a cute little car based on the Twingo platform, which meant that it was very compact, light and nimble. However, despite the smart folding roof, innovative design, and decent power from a 1.2 and 1.6 litre four-cylinder engines, the Wind didn't drive as nicely as everybody had hoped it would, and it had a cheap-feeling interior. Its poor driving dynamics and lack of space proved unpopular, and Renault quietly discontinued the Wind in 2013. Not a great loss. So there you are. Can you think of any examples? Let me know in the comments below. Cheers!